Blessings and greetings. Greetings and blessings to those who are live because we're intending to stay in live in Torah Chaim. Instructions of life, Torah Chesed, instructions of kindness, Torah Rachim, instructions of mercies. We're going to go into a couple of verses, hopefully, right now, for chapter 41 in Psalms that were composed by the Naim Zmirot Yisrael, the sweet singer of Israel, King David Melech. But I'd like to share with you something. There was a great rabbi in our generation, Rabbi Yoram Abergel, and he was once asked about the purpose of education. There are various viewpoints of education, but I like his interpretation here within the context of what we're trying to do here by sharing some verses in Psalms and bring some oral Torah traditions of Israel to, as he would say, educating is not training. We're not here to train you with anything, but rather to educate means to create desire and curiosity. So in terms of this content matter of helping the sick and the benefits that the sick can reap from being helped, and for those who are facilitating the help. This is this type of presentation on chapter 41 in Psalms, and we're going to verse 3. We did the first two verses in our initial presentation on chapter 41, consideration for the sick. The Almighty will preserve him, or her for that matter, and keep him or her alive, and he will be made praiseworthy on earth, and he will not present himself to the will of his foes. So the classic commentators Sforno and Rashi mention that the Almighty will preserve and keep him alive or her alive. I'm just adding the her because it could be a he or she that's involved in these good actions of having sensitivity and consideration for the poor. So according to Rashi and Sforno, this first, the life of the benefactor who is promised life and security is reward for nursing another. So there's a plan, there's a certain physics as in creation, blessed souls, that when you help others, try to nurse someone back to their former state of being as much as you can, and according to the integrity and truthfulness of your intentions. Therefore, you should also not be surprised by seeing that you are securing yourself a safer space and place within the creation. Now, in the Talmudic tractate of Nadarim, a poor person is actually considered almost like a dead person. So one who can revive a person from this type of economic death and bring them back to financial health, life is repaid measure for measure. So if you help to revive someone, to take them out of their depression, their sense of hopelessness, all sense of giving up because they're financially strapped, and you help revive them economically, you're giving back a sense of life. Don't be surprised if, in fact, that you will be blessed by giving more life. And there's a story of a tzaddik by the name of Benjamin, or Benjamin, the righteous one, who single-handedly supported a mother and her 7 sons in the time of famine. And one time he was sick, on the verge of death, and the ministering angels came before the Creator to plead his cause. Sovereign of the universe, did you not say that whoever preserves even one Jewish life as if he preserved the entire world? This also applies if one who saves anyone's life is also like the preserving the whole world. Shall this man who kept alive a mother and 7 sons die so young? Immediately his death sentence was torn to pieces, and 22 years were added to his life. He will make praiseworthy on earth the person who helps the other. The Almighty will provide the pauper with sustenance in his own locality, and not forced to wander distant lands to earn his livelihood, according to the Malbim. And the Ibn Ezra enumerates that a person who is going to help someone who's destitute and help preserve someone economically will have good fortune to outlive his contemporaries, and so his enemies will never have the pleasure of seeing him die. Verse 4, the Almighty will fortify him, or her, on the bed of misery, and all his restfulness has him upset by his illness. So in the Talmudic tractate of 12b, Shabbos, which is the oral Torah tradition of how to keep the Shabbat, we just came out of Shabbat, 12b, the Almighty supplies the invalid with strength and nutrition. And consequently, that we know that if a person is being revived from a sense of sickness, it's because the Shekhinah, divine presence, is resting at the head of every sick person. Therefore, the visitor should not sit on the sick man's bed. For doing so, he would be acting irreverently towards the Shekhinah, which rests on the bed. So as the person who is sick is resting on the bed, so too the Shekhinah is hovering around or resting at the head of every sick person. And all his restfulness has been upset by his illness. This is depending on the severity of the illness, that at some times that a person is unable to turn from side to side in their bed and get out of bed. And unfortunately, I've known from family members that a person just lying in bed constantly winds up with either a sore back, usually winds up with sore back, and with bed sores. But the person who is sick, Radak says that the Almighty will come in time to help a person who otherwise will not be able to move from side to side in the bed to actually be able to move from side to side in the bed. And talking about the invalid, and may the Almighty protect us from his sufferings, they usually are associated with those who soil their bedding. And so it must be constantly changed and turned over. So the Almighty cares for those who are sick, that this vital service is performed. And we're talking about, again, the person who helped another. That way themselves are sick and miserable. Sometimes sickness visits all of us, various times and other. I just got over a bad cold over the last weekend. Had to take a sick day from work. And the Almighty had mercy on me. So with that being said, that we should understand that being involved in acts of kindness for the poor and the invalid gives us more life. And if we have a period of suffering, then in fact we shall be comforted in our sickness, in the matter of the fact we help bring back to life or vitalize another person who is very sick. So we'll conclude on that. Bless everyone. Have a blessed week. Tomorrow, if you're interested, you can Blog Talk Radio, type in Don Zusia Goodman, and we're doing a show with the Rambam activist and student teacher Dennis Ryan to talk about teachings from Proverbs and also the prophecies in Daniel, because as time goes on, more people are realizing that we really need to have prophets returning into the creation, because the political situation is not really bringing us the solutions that we truly need and should warrant and merit to. I'm talking about the entire human family condition, not just this people or that people, whether they believe us like or not. All people need respite and see the might of the Creator by the uplifting of the downtrodden, each and every one from each and every one nation in this generation. Soulful revelation. May Lahava Chad, one love, Gorla Chad, one destiny, Kulan of almost Badak, Shalom, peaceful, pleasant way. And let's get the next man with that award winning smile.